messages you've been sending to the Dark Aether. The orbs. Who exactly do you expect to answer your call? Because I doubt anyone back home can be bothered to join our struggle here.
With respect, Invictor, we were not the only ones who took an interest in this world.
Perhaps. But when the others realized they could not come here in the flesh, that there was nothing material to be gained, they took interest in other things.
Now there is something here they can have. Vengeance. Cortifex the Deathless made a lot of enemies.
Yes, Warlock. And they were once united against Cortifex. But by now, they are surely back to battling each other.
This will not happen all at once. Destroy. First, they must make contact. Then, we must help them fashion artifacts to bind them to this plane. Perhaps the Nether Wars rage once more in the Dark Aether. But the head of Cortifex is too great a prize to resist. Someone will answer my calls. I know it.
We are new to you, human. But your kind is not new to us. Nothing has been new in eons. Since time began, we of the Dark Aether have been at war. And none know the ways of warfare better than I. For this reason, the mightiest lord of the Dark Aether, Cortifex the Deathless, placed me in command of his armies. We launched the Nether Wars upon his rivals, and for a time, it seemed we would crush them. But Cortifex is a cruel master. Loyalty is something he neither feels nor inspires. As I watched his enemies unify into a joint resistance, I knew he could never truly succeed. When I joined them and we toppled his throne, Cortifex swore vengeance. He sees the human Von List as the means to that end. There are those in the Dark Aether who would still support his return. But most would do anything to help us stop him here.
Kitsune. Do you know that word? I picked it up a few centuries back when I spent time in Japan. It means fox, but it also refers to a sort of trickster spirit. They were said to bond with humans and habit them. This was called Kitsunetsuki. Such a lovely language. It meant the fox was within you, controlling you, affecting your mind. So guess what more than a few humans used to call me? Some even offered themselves for my Kitsunetsuki. I salute the Japanese for their fearlessness, because that's what you have to be to bond with me. Fearless. Soldiers, servants, holy men, lords and ladies. I hooked up with anyone who was willing to take me for a ride. And what a time we had! The party lasted from the Heian period well into the Edo period, but it all came to an unpleasant end when, well, the less said about that, the better. Listen closely, plaything. I know your kind better than the others. Better even than Bellica. I've played with you clever monkeys since you raised your first cities. And you never cease to surprise me. There are so many ways to have fun with you, so many paths to lead you down. Oh, I hope that doesn't scare you. It shouldn't when someone who's older than time says you're special. Pick up your chin and do what they say. My playthings only meet bad ends when they dig in their heels. They have notions of right and wrong, good and bad, made up nonsense that just gets in the way. The ones who played well with me became emperors and conquerors, and some were even peacemakers. You're lucky you met me, little mortal. Loosen up and everything will turn out just fine. I don't know how many of your centuries ago it happened, but I remember when we first became aware of your world. Before that, we thought the dark Aether was, well, everything. Then one day, strange items began to appear in my realm. I speak of things like that pack-a-punch device, and the box that spits out guns. They caused quite an uproar among my kind. How did they work? Where did they come from? And what kind of trouble could I stir up over there? I spent several of your lifetimes just catching glimpses through the dimensional veil. I watched you silly things discover agriculture and start to trade routes, sow the bases. So the mechanisms that landed in the dark ether must have come from your future. Don't ask me how. Oh, I was too busy playing with your ancestors to care. At first, I got them to see me in campfires, then in pools of water. Later, it was mirrors and then crystal balls. The more civilized you became, the more refined the lens through which we spoke. But there was no crossing over, no visiting in the flesh, so I looked for a way to deepen my contact and my control. I needed an anchor in your reality. A trans-dimensional link so we could really connect. And that's when it hit me. That's when I had the idea for what you now call the artifacts.
I never get tired of watching you. Humans, I mean. Humanity. Always exploring, always building, always finding new and interesting ways to kill each other. My name is Belakar the Warlock. I wrote the histories of the Nether Wars. I was right there, on the battlefields of the Dark Aether. I've seen so many armies clash, the outcome decided by speed, deception, firepower, magic, the weather. But you humans find the most poetic ways to win, and stalemate, and completely lose the day. I cannot get enough of it. So if you and I are to chart a path to victory, don't be shy. Share your insights. Let me know what you're thinking. The more I understand your ways of war, the more I can help you. Secrets have their place in combat, but keep nothing from me. You would only be hurting yourself.
Bickering gets us nowhere. Just give me some time to think this over.
Soldiers of Nauticus, let us discuss our tactical dilemma in private. I have placed a speaking stone in what you call the apartments. Go find it. You may have to clear obstructions to get there. Understood? here? Good. At least you can follow orders.
Oh, don't flatter yourself, Nauticus. No one saluted you since Cortifex stripped you of command.
Let the Conqueror speak. I want to hear how he intends to shield these humans from certain death. As a matter of fact, Victor, a shield is exactly what I propose. It would have to be stronger than anything a mortal forge can produce, even in this age.
I believe Nordicus speaks of another shield. One you may remember from your service in Cortifex's armies.
Oh, you mean that commander of the Night Legions, don't you? What was his name again?
His name is forgotten. Cortifex saw to that as part of his punishment. But his shield is still somewhere in the dark ether. Finding and awakening it may require more power than the four of us combined.